Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Ng. Joyce, we just finished watching the 2023 Screen Actors Guild Awards on YouTube. What a lovely experience.
YouTube.com/Netflix.
I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite award shows we've watched in a long time. Great. Make all award shows be on streaming. That was my big takeaway.
Yeah, no orchestra or piped music playing people off, a lot of profanity.
Yeah.
And then the commercial breaks were just montages of past ceremonies.
The montages were great. I absolutely love that so much. I thought all of that was great. And it was also like a trip down memory. It reminded me of like a People magazine gallery of like the way they were. Will Arnett and Amy Poehler, Justin Theroux and Jennifer Aniston. And they just folded into the clips. Jane Krakowski making a Johnny Depp joke. It was great. It was just amazing.
I really love how they, in the first montage, they had clips of Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt winning back to back.
Yeah, that was great. Just all of that was great. You mentioned nobody getting played off. James Hong might still be talking, I think, for everything.
Good for him. Legend, loved it. I really love that he spoke in Cantonese.
Yeah.
And then Michelle Yeoh, translated it. But like I know Cantonese, I don't know Mandarin, and usually media uses Mandarin.
Yes.
So I can understand some Mandarin, so I did appreciate the Cantonese there, and I love how he was like, maybe Hong Kong is watching.
It's on YouTube. They're streaming, and then he was like, put this on a TV network next year, and it's like, well, James, they're still on Netflix.
They would have played you off by now. Yeah,
they would have definitely played you off. This would have never happened.
The credits would have finished rolling by then.
Definitely a wrap it up moment, but no, Joyce. So we're talking. We Everything Everywhere All at Once, a record, I believe, 4 SAG wins.
It's the first film to win 4 SAG awards.
Yes,
and the first film to win 3 individual SAG awards too. I think most people thought it would win 3 total, yes. And then JLC is All of Us, and she won that thing.
No, we did not think any. We had none of these people winning. We had Everything Everywhere winning ensemble. That was pretty obvious. It seemed very likely that would happen, and it did. And Ki Kwan winning for supporting actor, but then Michelle Yeoh, maybe an upset, not for us, but she defeated Cate Blanchett, and then
no, because we said that was the closest race.
Right.
Like you're acting like Kate was like way out ahead. Like we knew this was the spot for Michelle to win.
I went. I think 1 for 4 in the acting categories for SAG.
Yes, and then BAFTA went 0 for 4. They don't match, which is great. So there's no acting sweeper this year, which I love because I hate sweeps.
But I said, if all these other people win, I would not be surprised. So I'm not super surprised.
Well, yeah, because every winner here is exactly up SAG's alley.
Yes.
Like it's populist. We already know Everything Everywhere is the biggest movie or like their favorite movie. And obviously it won 4 awards. And they love very mainstream emotional baity stuff like The Whale,
right?
And like we knew like he could win, Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Like we've always said like this was the best place for him to win, not like BAFTA. So none of these are surprised. Like Jamie Lee Curtis was the only one that's really surprising because she just defeated Angela Bassett, another narrative driven win or possible win.
Right. So why don't we start there? That's seemingly all of these races are pretty. I think Ki Kwan, I definitely feel like is locked no matter what. I know he lost at BAFTA, but I'm like that seems pretty. We might be able to put that one in pen. I would say if you're filling out a ballot. The other 3 acting races I think are pretty in flux, and particularly supporting actress, which is just a complete mess. So Jamie Lee Curtis
we're back to the beginning since Michelle Williams vacated the category. Or not even vacated because she was never in it. We just all assumed she was going to be in supporting.
I will say after the opening when Jamie Lee Curtis was like, I'm an actor, I was like, she's winning. That was when I knew she was going to win. So the ovation she got in the room. And then when I watched Jessica Chastain and open the show with like wins for Jessica Chastain and Sam Elliott, I was like, Jamie Lee Curtis is definitely winning this award. I had no doubt she was.
The TV winners just incredible.
We could talk about those later, but I think I slacked you. I was like, she's winning. She definitely was winning. I just knew it, and she did win, and there you go. And I'm like, I don't know. Angela Bassett obviously won at the Golden Globes and then the Critics' Choice Awards, which kind of like jumped on the, hey, this is going to happen bandwagon. I'm just like, that's what it feels like for Angela Bassett.
Yeah, and now she's lost 2 industry awards,
which are more important than either one of those media journalists,
which are not industry.
They're not industry. And yeah, like I do think we talked about this. We had compared it to like Juliette Binoche and Lauren Bacall, and you astutely pointed out like Sylvester Stallone and Mark Rylance. That's what this feels like now to me. And I feel like Carrie Condon would be Mark Rylance in that case, and will probably end up winning because I just think push comes to shove, Jamie Lee Curtis and Angela Bassett are like probably really close. Now they could just be an Everything Everywhere sweep and it wins like 5 Oscars, which I still think it might, even if Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't win. But I do think Carrie Condon maybe ends up as a surprise winner because of the BAFTA win. Like
that's not even you can't call Carrie Condon a surprise.
No, not now. Winner. Not now. Not now. But
no, she would just win like Tilda Swinton won for Michael Clayton. Sure. That was also a pretty divided race. Yes. And I remember when I predicted that, my boss at the time was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She's not winning. I was like, "Trust me, she is."
She was. So, what do you think? So, what do you think then now?
So I think Angela Bassett losing here. You could brush off last week at BAFTA being like, they're just not into Black Panther. She was never winning there. They were obviously going to go hard, but not that hard on Banshees. So whatever, fine, sure. But she really should have won tonight. Like that was hers for the taking. And really assert herself, especially having won 2 awards already. So I think that just shows how weak of a front runner she was this whole time and how narrative driven it was. And SAG also loves narratives, and they didn't go for that narrative of her being overdue, and they went for another overdue veteran from their favorite movie.
Right. I mean, I think that's really what it was. Obviously it's their favorite movie. It's a record-setting movie, and it won in every category it could because obviously Stephanie Sue
technically didn't lose.
Right, because Stephanie Sue is the other nominee in supporting actress. So of its 5 nominations, it won 4, but all 4 categories it was nominated in, it won. So yeah, they love that movie.
Yeah, so I think it just shows that Angela's been weak this whole time, and Everything Everywhere and Banshees are the stronger movies. This is kind of like Best Actor.
Yes.
So
Best Actor went to Brendan Fraser over Austin Butler.
Again, not that surprising.
Not a shock, but I will say I thought Austin Butler would have won after he won at BAFTA. Obviously I predicted.
Why do you think people, the last minute stragglers cast their vote based on BAFTA last week?
Well, I just thought it's so, I actually, like you said, I understand it's a Beatty, Brendan Fraser, make you cry performance, but that man, the way they went down the middle on a lot of these things, and even watching Jessica Chastain win, I was like, Austin Butler's definitely winning, playing Elvis. She's playing Tammy Wynette, right? I mean, I was just like, oh, definitely he's gonna win, and then didn't. So good for me, I guess.
I feel like it was probably close between them, because we said, both of them check so many of a SAG bait performance, right? In different ways. But again, they love narratives of Brendan's comeback, so they awarded 2 comeback guys.
They did. I was saying last week, you can only have room for 1 comeback guy, but this was
you can at SAG because they love a narrative. The Oscars are less inclined to award narratives.
I'd also argue that, and we kind of said this a lot, but I do think I think SAG really did like The Whale, and I think it might have been 6 out of 5 ensemble nominees. I do think it was really close to getting in there as an ensemble nominee, and I think Elvis would not have gotten, you know what I mean? I think they liked The Whale a lot.
SAG is clearly the place, even before any nominations came out, I would have for sure said this is the place that would love it the most.
Right. And so
I got 2, which is fine. And then it got that surprising PJ nomination.
Right.
But this is the type of movie that SAG loves, and the type of performance, it hits you in the feels.
Yes.
So, and then, he's on his comeback trail. And a nice story. And they did do a lot of screenings in the fall, we all joke about how we just had that one still for months. and they wouldn't release A24, didn't release a trailer for months. But they were doing in-person screenings of Q&As. Like they knew what they were doing. They were getting him out there like FaceTime.
They did it. So I feel like they did like a Sony Classics campaign for him.
And A24 just dominated tonight. So
yeah, won every acting award. Is that right? No, is that right? Yeah. Amazing. No, I think that's still close. And I keep going, like, the reason I'm gonna still lean like Harry Condon and Austin Butler at the Oscars is because those are stronger movies. And even if the whole Academy is voting, I think the whole Academy is way more interested in Banshees of Inisherin and Elvis than they were The Whale and obviously Black Panther.
Well, so for supporting actress, I think Carrie has the international vote that Black Panther and Everything Everywhere probably don't have.
Right.
And then Jamie also has to deal with Stephanie.
Right. She has not materialized really as like a serious threat, but like we were like in thinking of the international vote, just for thinking of BAFTA particularly, like if Q Kwan didn't win at BAFTA, like they really did not embrace that movie then, obviously. So like Jamie Lee Curtis getting a wealth of international support seems like not something that's very realistic, I would say.
I mean, she is a former BAFTA winner, but like that, I think it might just like she might just split between like Stephanie, and then also if you're just voting on, you know, overdue veteran, it's like she like her and Angela too.
Right. How you gonna pick?
And I mean, like Carrie, you know, like critics awards like don't really matter at this point, and like they're not voting, but like she is the most acclaimed performance of this group, and the most awarded thus far, and that's usually what prevails here, especially in the last couple years too. But we've kind of had like sweepers the last couple years, except for Yoon. But I would lean Carrie right now, and then that's also another way to honor Banshees, which went 0 for 5 tonight, as we expected. There's just no place for it to win. It's the first 5-time nominee to not win anything.
Yeah, I think Carrie would win, and I do think, like we had said, like I still am going to stick with Austin at the Oscars, even though Brennan won.
Yeah, I'm not really deviating from Austin or Cate Blanchett.
So I might deviate from Cate, and I wanted to talk about that. I was like, watching tonight, I was like, man, Michelle Yeoh, people are really excited about her, not just film Twitter. I think like a lot of people.
That's not new. Where have you been?
I know, but it's not new, but I do think like people were also very excited about Cate. And then tonight it felt like, man, no one seemed to care about Cate except for like Quinta Brunson, who I think gave her a shout out from the stage.
The room.
The room matters, though. Those are the people who are voting for the Oscars.
But like that's not just the only people voting for the Oscars.
No, I know, but it's like a lot of the people voting for the Oscars. It's
not all those people in there are Oscar members. So
I mean, a lot of those people are Oscar members.
Yeah, but not everyone. Like you're acting like only those people in that room are voting.
No, I know, but I do think there is like a very great affection for it, and obviously.
Oh no, like I agree. Like there's always, but I'm saying like there's always been affection for Michelle Yeoh, and it just like, she can totally win the Oscar. Like she needed this tonight to win the Oscar.
Yeah, and I do think she actually.
I just don't think anything has really changed.
None of the speeches tonight I felt like were like great, including hers. Though I thought hers was pretty good. But you couldn't hear it because she kept crinkling her dress.
It was her crinkle paper dress.
So the little AV fail there. And then Brendan's speech I didn't really think was very memorable. Jamie Lee Curtis's was great. So I don't think like any of the speeches really were like a game changer, let's say. But I do think Michelle Yeoh, like the way the entire cast and like seemed like the room was very into her. I'm like, I could really see her kind of pushing the last few weeks here and pulling ahead in a tight race, especially if she's going to be like just all over the place. And it's hard to think, I guess if you're thinking like the movie's going to win Best Picture, which we both expect at this point, right? It won a PGA, obviously, not a surprise. It won here, not a surprise. It won DGA, not a surprise, maybe. So if it's going to win Best Picture and you're an Oscar voter who's like, man, I love this movie, I'm putting it number one, like you would probably put her number one too. She is like the movie, right?
Yeah, but the Best Picture winners were the lead in the win. So I'm just saying, like, I don't think anything changed tonight because we, like, last week, we all expected Kate to win the BAFTA. Like, for months, we all expected Kate to win the BAFTA and Michelle to win SAG. And those two things happened.
Right.
So
I guess I didn't really expect Michelle to win SAG. I really thought Kate was going to win SAG.
Oh, see, I was like, it's tied between. I mean, like, I went with Kate, but I was like, Michelle can totally win here. Like, I didn't think it was a slam dunk for Kate here. So I like nothing changed for me.
Yeah, I think I might change her, but that's the only one I would change. I'll stick with Austin and Carrie, who I think I already have winning. I definitely have Carrie winning at the Oscars already, and then obviously Hugh Kwan and Everything Everywhere Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad 3 of these acting races are exciting.
Yes.
So
because Best Picture seems not exciting.
We've had too many sweeps.
Best Picture seems like pretty set.
Pack it up. We don't need to talk about that. Just nothing to say.
You don't think it's gonna? You don't think it's gonna? All Quiet's gonna to make history as like a All Quiet is the parasite of this race, or
All Quiet on the Western Front, 2-time Best Picture winner.
Yeah, it's like the moonlight of this race after the PGAs.
I mean, honestly, that's really the only thing you can make a argument for, because it doesn't, like, it has nowhere else to assert itself because it has no guild presence. So it's just like lurking in the background. So you don't know like what's happening with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, it peaked late or broke late. So it didn't make a lot of awards groups nominations lists.
Right.
So, you know, went over with BAFTA. And yeah, we don't know like who else, how many people are checking out right now before voting starts, you know? So, I mean, everything are also really lucked out in that there's no consensus alternative to it.
Right.
Because we've just had different films winning in places. And, you know, like Fabelmans and won the Globe drama, but that's been fading for weeks.
Yeah.
Banshees like couldn't even win BAFTA.
That was a shock. That was bad.
All Quiet, late breaker, dominated BAFTA, but it's not nominated in any place else, so it can't win anywhere else to show itself. So it could, just by being absent, just surge ahead invisibly, you know, and we don't know until the envelope is open. And Top Gun was always like it hinged on PGA, but I don't think like realistically anyone really thought it was going to win Best Picture.
No,
you know, so
I thought it could win.
What else is there?
Nothing.
Like no one ever realistically talked about Tar as a Best Picture winner. So
it feels like the last few years you could say the same thing, where there's been a front runner and then there's never been like an alternative. Really, I guess Coda was like the alternative, Power of the Dog, but I actually don't think like Coda materialized so quickly. It felt like the front runner almost immediately. Maybe not at the nomination.
Coda materialized at SAG. It was like a year ago tonight, basically, right, where it won 2 SAG Awards. And then I think like the true turning point was when it won Adapted Screenplay at BAFTA.
Yes.
2 weeks later, because I was like, holy shit.
But like, I'm just like, oh man, like you're right. None of these movies are gonna, like, there's no alternative for Everything Everywhere. It just seems obvious it would win.
Yeah, like, and I understand like the concern that a lot of its stands had over it performing at PJ and the preferential ballot. But I was like, there's just not a solid alternative to it, you know, that could take it down. Like, I'm sure there are, you know, a lot of its haters would not vote for it and rank it low, but I don't think its haters have agreed like what is second best.
I also just
like they all need to band together, get into Zoom and be like, we can't let Everything Everywhere win, so we have to vote for this.
I also don't think there's a lot of haters for it. It just seems like the industry is very across a lot of different
Americans love it.
Americans love it. Everything is lining up for it, and the international voters, even if they're not as hot on it, will still probably enough will support it, basically.
Yeah.
And I think
it's fine. Like it's winning that, it's winning director. So again, like no alternative in director.
Right. So it wins Best Picture, Best Director, Q Kwan, and I do think it could win Michelle Yeoh too. I guess the one I'm wondering now, and we'll see next week, is the WGA Awards, and it doesn't matter because I don't think whatever. But I was just like that.
Well, it's
screenplay,
going to win WGA. So
it will win WGA, but like Banshee's not there. So would Banshees win at the Oscars?
I think Banshees can win at the Oscars.
Yeah. I mean, that would be, but it could also win that too. I mean, it could win like 6. I think I'll end up having it winning 5 probably in the end, because I think I'll have editing too, not Top Gun.
I mean, the Oscars also don't do sweeps anymore, really. Like it's hard to win more than 4.
But this could win picture, director, actress, supporting actor, and editing. That's 5. I would probably have it.
It has 3 for sure.
Yeah.
So, and like all its win can also just be above the line too.
Yeah. That could be funny. You could watch 3 hours of the Oscar broadcast and win like 1 award, and then win like the last 2 in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've had that happen before. There was also, remember when La La Land didn't won Best Picture for like 2 minutes, but it didn't win a single award until like cinematography like 2 hours in, and people were getting worried. It also depends on how they do the order of presentation.
Maybe they'll do Best Actor or Last Actor.
Well, supporting actor should be first, just get it over with. So
I feel like it will be. Yeah, so that's it, Joyce. That was the film side. Anything? What else did you notice?
The film side. I don't know.
That's it. I mean, like, no, Colin Farrell. I mean, we were kind of that ship.
He's been done since he lost BAFTA. So
yeah, that one's done.
And we knew he was not going to win this. We knew SAG was between Austin and Brendan. So
you're going to stay with Austin, obviously, too.
Yeah.
Right.
He has the Best Picture nominee.
And the BAFTA win.
Yeah, they both have industry wins, he and Brendan. So.
TV side of things, Joyce. So White Lotus won a drama ensemble, which we said. Abbott Elementary won comedy ensemble. I listened to you and I switched to Jean Smart for Best Actress. That was smart. In comedy. Best Actor in a Comedy, Jeremy Allen White. Great. Love that. Best Actor in a Drama. You were right. Jason Bateman in Ozark. I don't know if you predicted him.
I took the hit because I couldn't betray Bob, but I told you he was winning.
You knew it. You absolutely knew it. I was like, look at that.
They were going to go back to him.
I got to say, even Jason Bateman seemed a little like, this is great. Thanks.
Well, now he has tied James Gandolfini's record of 3 wins in the category. So Jason Bateman, James Gandolfini, the most awarded drama actors at SAG.
It's amazing.
And Jason Bateman has never lost this category since he won it. So he's and so he also has not won in consecutive years because Ozark was ineligible after his first win and then after his second win. So he's never suffered a loss. So he's reclaimed since he first won. Like he's reclaimed the award twice without losing.
Amazing.
Yeah. And he and Bill Hader have the opposite problems because Jason can win SAG for acting, but not the Emmy for acting.
Mm-hmm.
And he can win the Emmy for directing, but not DGA. Bill can win the Emmy for acting, but not SAG.
Right.
And he can win the DGA for directing, but not the Emmy.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Coolidge won for White Lotus and a drama actress. Great speech. Hers was my favorite of the night, I would say.
Yeah, and it was also, I think people were expecting another funny speech, and it was very emotional, and I loved it.
I loved it too, and it made me laugh because she's telling these like great stories about like her childhood, and like people are like, I hear people laughing because they're like waiting for the joke, and it's like there's no joke. She's just telling a nice story. Not everything is going to be a joke, but it is a good story. I thought she was great. I was really happy she won. Like I said, so we goofed about this, and I said I'm gonna go down. I'm gotta go to Amanda Seyfried for drama for limited series actress. That she lost.
I think you're the curse. Like she was winning because you weren't predicting her.
Oh, Amanda Seyfried, I'm so sorry that I cost you a sweep by predicting you finally, because I had been predicting Jessica Chastain in every one of these shows, and then I didn't predict her for this, and she won.
It's the reverse of my Ray Seahorn
Oh my God.
First, because Ray finally got in at the Emmys when I stopped predicting her.
I couldn't believe it. I literally was like, I cannot believe this. I could have literally for 2 in a row. I think I did Justine. She didn't win.
And you didn't even do Amanda at the Emmys. You did Lily James.
No. Oh my God. I couldn't believe that. That one was hilarious. And then Sam Elliott won. I had him dead last in my picks, and he won for 18.
Iconic win, and also totally SAG.
Great SAG, just all time. And his speech was good too, I thought. Nice little, he wrote it down. He was prepared.
Yeah. A lot of words.
Yeah.
So then, the Taylor Sheridan verse has won a Golden Globe and a SAG Award.
No Emmys. How come Chief Willoughby? Maybe
what's going on with Kevin Costner?
Maybe 1923. Harrison Ford, double Emmy nominee this year for Shrinking and 1923.
1923.
Yeah, hell yeah. Helen Mirren, get her in for that accent that she did. Great accent work in the show. So those are the TV ones. I feel like they started out like wild because of Jessica Chastain and Sam Elliott, neither of whom were very widely predicted by anyone, and then kind of just settled into very chalk winners. Like nothing surprised me after that.
Yeah, the comedy winners were and even well, Bateman, I guess not, because a lot of people had Quinta Brunson, but Jean Smart, I told you.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't seem like a shock. Even if you had Quinta Brunson, I'm sure you had to think Jean Smart would win or could win. Right, like I switched right away when you made it. Even just thinking about it, I was like, "Yeah, you're right." Like, why would Jean Smart win?
Well, I also feel better, not because like Jean won, but Abbott lost PGA Saturday, to the Bear, and so it kind of like reinforced my feeling that Abbott was not super strong or as strong as people think it is, like within the guilds at least.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't win PGA when it was predicted to, and it, arguably underperformed at SAG and only got those 2 nominations. Like you could really make a case for saying like Shirley Ralph should have gotten a nomination at SAG. Yeah,
and Tyler James Williams.
Yeah, like Tyler James Williams especially, like no internal competition really.
Yeah, you kind of called that, I think, back when the nominations came out, that it underperformed, and it did. It feels like a perfect ensemble show too. Like you're not watching Quinta is great. I think she is really good on the show, but you're not watching it thinking like she is like a iconic performance compared to like Jean Smart, who, while I love Hannah Einbinder, is obviously Hacks is like Jean. Like she's a showcase.
And they love repeats. And she is a veteran, so it made sense. And also a great speech by Chris McDonald in her stead, reading her speech off his phone.
I love Shooter. I love Shooter McGavin, so that was great. All the speech, I mean, the TV speeches were great. I mean, I thought his speech for Jean was really good. I really liked that. I thought Jessica Chastain's speech was great. I thought it was great. Sam Elliott.
She really knows how to appeal to the struggling actor. Yeah, because she was one.
It made me laugh that she started the ceremony with her win and that speech and citing like struggling actors, and then like 3 or 4 other people when they won kind of did a variation on the same thing, and I was like, you're just ripping off Jessica, kind of.
To be fair, like most speeches, every SAG ceremony is like that.
Right, that's true. Always going to talk about the little people, right? I guess.
And like a lot of them, did struggle for years before their big break. So
yeah, Jessica Chastain knocked around for a long time before she became.
Yeah, her big break was her 7 films 13 years ago, 12 years ago now. Yeah. So I also love because like she's on Broadway, so she flew in just for this, and she was wearing her mask. So I
noticed that too, but she had it on obviously, and then just immediately took it off.
She had it on at the tables when they were doing the I'm an actor at the beginning, so you could see it. But obviously, she took it off when she won. Right. So,
well, she'll be fine on the stage. I'm sure it's fine. What else? So that was the TV ones. I mean, like I thought the show was great. Like I said, like love the montages. Whoever put those montages together, great. Love seeing the old SAG stuff. I think if they're doing it again next year, they just got to figure out a way to like. It had a little bit of the Golden Globes issue where people were just not obviously paying attention.
Yeah, well, that's also because like they don't have commercial breaks. Right. They're not going to have it next year either when it's on Netflix officially.
Right.
So, and they don't have a host either. So maybe they'll try to get a host next year.
maybe a host, or maybe try to like come up. Like I was thinking, like as a TV producer, Joyce, I'm like a long time TV producer. I was like, boy, what could they have done differently? So they had like the montages, and that was like obviously like filling in for like a commercial break. But like I was like, maybe they should do more backstage bits or something, like some kind of like thing that's like clearly happening, and then like kind of like as a transition to get people back onto their seats or something. I don't know.
I think it's just really, when it's a dinner table setting, I think it's really hard to wrangle people.
Yeah.
As opposed to an auditorium setting.
Yeah.
Because even when there is a host at the Globes,
we saw that this year.
Yeah, like it's hard to like get everyone to settle down, and they're drunk. So
yeah, but I thought the show was great. No notes.
Yeah, it only went 15 minutes over.
Right. And that's because they had the big James Hong tribute at the end, which is great. Like a 10-minute.
Yeah, I think like Mark Wahlberg came out and said women are talking at 10:05.
We still haven't talked about that. First of all, choices were made to have Mark Wahlberg present Ensemble, I would say.
Incredible.
And then like no one was like, let's see what's gonna win here. Oh, okay, everything everywhere. Yeah, let's definitely bring in Mark. That's fine. And then women are talking. I just was like, amazing. Just an amazing moment.
Yeah. And I really wish they had won, because
congratulations to Women Are Talking.
I guess what would he have said? I guess like obviously they're not winning.
Women are not winning. They are talking. You got one thing to do. I don't know. You can't get the name of the movie, right? I would say I'm a fan of Mark Wahlberg's acting sometimes. He's a good performer. I interviewed him a million years ago, Joyce, for the movie Contraband, I believe.
And how was that?
It was fun. We talked while he was on the street walking, and I talked to him on his cell phone. I had like 10 minutes with him.
Oh, I love when the talent is traveling. I love like car phoners.
That's what this was like.
I once lost Ryan Murphy because he was in the car. He wasn't driving, but he went through a tunnel and I just completely lost him.
One time, too, so I had Mark Wahlberg walking down the street in New York City, like talking to me on his cell phone, and I was like, okay, this is great. And I think somebody was like, say hi to your mother for me in the call. And I was like, do you get that a lot? He's like, yeah. And then I had Ansel Elgort like in a car when he was doing Fault in Our Stars, and he was like getting shepherded between like one thing to another thing, a phone or with him. And he was like going to like maybe even honestly going to like a late night thing or something, because I know he was like out. He was like, there are people outside the car kind of thing.
Nice. I once had Vanessa Minnillo stop. She pulled off to the side of the road because she's like, I know I'm going to lose reception, so I'm just going to pull over and finish the call with you before she continued. I was like, that's nice of you.
It's nice. I also
I hope you're not late to wherever you're going,
I also like when they just call on their own numbers.
That's the best. I love that. Yeah.
So Mark Wahlberg did, I think, at the time, maybe. Mm-hmm. It definitely wasn't so like patched.
I also love when they leave you voicemails. Like if you haven't, I had a voicemail from Angela Lansbury.
Oh, that's great.
Tom Bosley died. Mm-hmm. So I had to wrangle celeb reactions from his former co-stars.
Right.
And I just emailed her rep.
And then she was called.
Yeah. And like she called overnight to my office line. So I came in the next morning
awesome.
with a voicemail from Angela Lansbury. So I obviously called back because she gave
That's amazing. The last one I got from a famous person was Betty Gilpin, who I interviewed a few years ago for something, and she had called and I missed the call and I had her voicemail. I was like, that's cool. Betty Gilpin rules. I was a big fan of her.
I have I think the only voicemail I have on my cell phone is from Paget Brewster.
Nice.
She like for Criminal Minds, one of my favorite shows.
And was she like Women Be Talking, Joyce, or Women Are Talking?
No, she was just like, let me know if you're I don't think she mentioned women at all. She was just like, let me know, like, when you're free. She's like, I'm so sorry, like I missed you, whatever, So this was like 11 years ago.
I just can't believe he didn't get the name right. I don't know. I think he could have gotten it right.
He's never heard of it before.
Oh, he's never seen it. He's like, what is this movie? Who are these people? No, you know what the funny thing too is, he got thrown because no one I can't believe I'm going to defend this because it was so bad, but I was like, to give him some credit, none of the other presenters, it seemed like, had to actually say any of the nominees. They were
but it's like, so because what happens with the final award is because like throughout the show they've been showing clips of the ensemble nominees. And then they're not gonna make another nominees package with it
Correct. So that was the problem, but I think he got
has
thrown
to
off.
read off the envelope or the teleprompter themselves.
I do think he got thrown off by that because I was just like, oh,
yeah, because he was like about to announce it, and then he's like, oh, I
got to read the nominees, and then he was just like, women are talking. You know that great movie. It didn't win, so it doesn't matter. It was fun seeing our pals from Babylon. I love seeing my friends from Babylon up there on stage.
Your favorite movie? Have you watched it on Paramount Plus?
Not yet, but my mom and dad watched it last night. We're recording on Sunday night. I talked to my mom today, and she was like, "Oh, watched Babylon last night." I was like, "Oh, isn't it great?" She was like, "Well, it's very long." And then she was like, "I don't think it needed. Why did it need to have?" Like she definitely got taken at. She thought it was a wonderful movie, and then what do we have to go the Tobey Maguire part into like the freak show stuff? She was just like, "Get me the hell out of this!" Like, why is it like that? I was like, "Mom, it's like a metaphor for Hollywood, and everything is like a commodity, and like there's no." And she was not buying the metaphor. Damien Chazelle, I'm sorry to say.
It is the section that could have been excised, but then that would mean no Tobey Maguire, and I always want Tobey Maguire.
That's what I was saying. I was like, also, it is part of the theme of the movie that it's like they went from stars to like, here's spectacle. Guy's gonna eat a rat.
It is too long though. What did she think of the final montage?
She was like, "What is that? Was that in his head?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "See, it's like if you don't have all this shit, you can't get Avatar. Is it worth it? You decide, Mom. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you yes or no."
Has she seen Avatar: The Way of Water?
She hasn't seen that yet. She'll never watch that shit. Come on. But no, so Babylon, I would love seeing my pals from Babylon. It was funny watching like the cast who shows up. So like you had Diego Calva and some of the cast members for Only Murders. I saw none of them were there, right? Because they're filming season 3. So it was like 2 members of the ensemble.
That's why they did the thing in the beginning.
Right. That was fun. Yeah, obviously Hacks had good representation, but yeah, that was the SAG Awards. I don't know. Anything else? The good in memoriam, Angela Lansbury closed it out.
My voicemail buddy, Angela Lansbury.
Who do you think will close the Oscar one?
I don't know. We've lost a lot of great people.
I was kind of like, I could not believe.
Oh my God, that transition from Ray Liotta to Parts Savino. Oh my gosh.
Tough. I was like, wow, all of these people died this. Every year, I feel like you're always like, man, a lot of people died. But man, a lot of people died this past year.
Yeah, we're old, and we're just going to keep losing all of our faves.
I think Angela Lansbury could close out the Oscars one too, frankly.
Yeah, 3-time nominee. She was
James Caan,
last, vestige of...
Right. I mean,
Hollywood.
it was Angela Lansbury, James Caan was second to last, I think, right? I don't know who was anti-penultimate. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Sally Field. You know, talk about Sally Field.
That was great. First of all, Andrew Garfield looks like he is living the greatest life right now.
He is preparing to play a wolf, clearly. A very tan wolf.
He was so tan. I was like, man, last year he had to sit through all of this shit as a nominee, knew he wasn't going to win for a much better performance than won. And then this year he looked like the weight of the world off his shoulders, having the time of his life. He just looked great. I thought his speech was wonderful. And man, Sally Field made so many good movies and so many like iconic movies, I feel like.
Do you know what I watched yesterday?
What?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Great movie. Mm-hmm. I was like, Mrs. Doubtfire, you go through IMDb and it just is like just nothing but bangers.
I'm so glad they included a clip of her amazing stint on ER.
Oh, so, I knew you'd like that.
Yeah. And I also remember last year for Helen Mirren, they did not include a clip of Teaching Mrs. Tingle.
Yeah, tough beat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I love Sally Field, and I thought her speech was great. And Michelle Yeoh actually mentioned it in her acceptance speech for Best Actress. And how, yeah, I thought that was a wonderful moment. Sally Field's great. I still haven't seen 80 for Brady, but look forward to watching it someday. Probably on streaming. Whenever it's streaming, I'll watch it. Is it a Paramount movie? Yeah. Right? Or is it Universal? I think it's Paramount, so it'll be on Paramount Plus. And that was it. That's the whole show. It was 2 hours, 15 minutes. Watched on YouTube. I'm like, this is great, man. What are the Oscars gonna do?
It started on time, and they had a nice countdown before of like previous speeches too.
I thought that was pretty cool.
No technical difficulties.
No, way better. Remember, like in the early days of the pandemic, how disastrous these shows were. Nobody could get a Zoom loaded up. And now it's just like, this is fine. It's streaming on YouTube. We didn't even talk about Ariana DeBose was there, and she did the thing, Joyce. She referenced her own viral infamy by doing the thing.
Do you think, I know they didn't know, but it's like funny to think like did they know that Angela did not win, and that's why she didn't present that category?
No, but I was wondering, how do you think they decided who presented what category? It was very strange to me. So she didn't present
supporting actor.
She didn't, did she?
She didn't.
So who presented supporting actor? Orlando Bloom?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was there.
And then like they kind of weren't matching up past winners, but then Jessica Chastain did present Brendan Fraser. So I was like, okay, so they went back to that for that. But obviously Will Smith wasn't going to be there. I don't know if you know this, but Will Smith
won an Image Award yesterday.
I saw for Emancipation. I couldn't believe it. I was like, he's still winning for King Richard, and I forgot actually it was for Emancipation. No, so obviously Will Smith wasn't there to present actor, and Troy Kotsur wasn't there to present supporting actress. I don't even remember who did supporting actress. I think it was that Emily Blunt and Jason Bateman?
Maybe. I remember them doing, there were 2 people for supporting actress and 1 person for supporting actor.
Yeah, all of that was weird in how they decided how they would want to do it. And then it was not weird to me if it was just like, 52 pickup doesn't matter. But then when they had Jessica Chastain do actor, I was like, why didn't you just have the past winners?
Yeah, like having Jeff Bridges do actress was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like a former winner.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Tonight. I just think like they could have Troy Kotsur there, but maybe he couldn't come, and they were just like, for the supporting category, we're just gonna, screw it.
It was just like whoever they booked to present.
Right. So yeah, that was true.
I don't know. I guess, they could have done Emily Blunt, a former supporting actress winner, to do supporting actor.
I think she maybe did then with Jason Bateman. Was that supporting?
No, supporting actor, I think was Orlando. It was just Orlando.
Oh yeah, you're right.
She presented with Jason, but they were together and it was not supporting actor.
Okay. Their bit was great. I thought they were very funny together. I was impressed. I was like, Emily Blunt can do anything. She's got such good chemistry with everyone.
When is she going to get her Oscar nomination? For Oppenheimer?
No, I don't think she's going to be in it enough. Florence Pugh maybe for Oppenheimer? I don't know. That was SAG Awards. And then the PGA Awards ended way in the
I don't
wee
stay
hours.
Up for that. That's no.
In the wee hours of the morning. It went on
I know
forever.
What's going to happen.
I think it ended at like 3 a.m. maybe, our time.
No, it always ends around 2.
Everything Everywhere won that. No kidding. In the documentary category, Nalvani won. So that's now a very competitive race, I feel like, between that and Fire.
He's going to win the Oscar. This is just giving shades of Icarus and My Octopus Teacher.
Yeah. So then you think it's going to win?
Yes.
And the Bear. Film. And then the Bear one.
The Bear, that was great. So like just I looked through, cause I was awake for like half of it.
Sure.
But like the order of presentation for the PJs was funny because it felt like they started off with like the locks, like Pinocchio and the White Lotus for drama. And then for a ton of categories in the middle was upsets or, not the favorite winning.
Yes.
And then the final category was obviously Best Picture, and it was Everything Everywhere. So we're back to chalk again.
Right. A lot of these shows seeming like, and you got to wonder maybe if the Oscars will end up being like that too, where it's like, it is a very competitive year. And like we said, there are like 3 acting races that are up for grabs, but they are all up for grabs in a way that like nothing that would happen would be a surprise. Right. So like if Kerry Condon or Jamie Lee Curtis wins or Angela Bassett, I would be a little surprised, honestly, now if Angela Bassett won, but I guess not. And then obviously Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett, if either one of them win, it would be like, okay. And even Brendan Fraser and Austin Butler, I would not be shocked if Brendan Fraser won. But then by the time
this is why it's fun when there are split races.
Yeah. But then by the time you get to the end of the show, it's like, oh, okay, we know it's gonna win. It's over.
We know Best Picture, yeah. So like there's nothing that can beat it. Like we knew it was gonna dominate the guilds, and it's doing it right now.
Yeah.
So it has DGA, PGA, and SAG. It's gonna get WGA next week.
Right.
So
what else was there another guild? Sound? Did that happen today too?
Yeah, costumes is tomorrow. So there were the Annies last night too. So a lot of wins for Pinocchio. Yeah.
Let me see the Golden Reel Awards. I think Top Gun won Foley, and I think Banshees won ADR maybe, and then Elvis won sound editing for music. That tracks. I actually think here's what I was thinking. I was like, if it was 2 sound categories, you'd have Elvis winning one and Top Gun winning another, right? This year, probably.
We talked about this. Elvis would be winning mixing and Top Gun would be winning editing.
And then so that's why I actually think Elvis will end up. I think Elvis could. So I think Everything Everywhere is going to win editing, and I think Elvis will win sound. But I could see even if Top Gun won editing, Elvis would still win sound because I think the mixing will supersede the editing.
Okay. I still have Top Gun and sound. So here's my question for you. Yes. How many Best Picture nominees are going to go home empty-handed?
All right, let me take a look at the Best Picture winner updates.
Because we have some locks here, like Avatar's winning.
So Avatar will win one. Women Talking.
All Quiet is going to win international at least, and cinematography probably.
Right. Okay, so I'm just going to go through. Avatar definitely winning one. Women Talking, nothing. Women Are Talking will also win nothing. Neither women space talking movies will win anything. Triangle of Sadness, nothing. Elvis, I think, will win at least one, if not two, because I think it could win makeup and hair as well. Tar could win nothing. I think if Michelle beats Cate Blanchett, I don't know what else it would win at this point. Fableman's nothing. Banshees, one. All Quiet, one, or at least. Top Gun, nothing. So that's half the Best Picture nominees would not get anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess 5 of the 10 will not get anything.
But right now, what are you're predicting 5?
I'm predicting 5 will not get anything because I'm gonna have I don't think I'd have anything else. Like I don't have Tar winning if I don't have Cate Blanchett winning. So if I'm gonna move to Michelle Yeoh, which I probably will, then that's out. And the rest of them I didn't have winning anything anyway. So
I think the only ones I don't have winning anything are Fableman's, Triangle of Sadness, and Woman Talking right now.
I moved off Top Gun. I'm just not sure the industry cares. Tom Cruise saved Hollywood's ass, but the industry.
I mean, it's not winning Best Picture. It could win techs.
I could win techs, but I think they're just more infatuated with these other techs. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. Like, it could obviously win sound.
It can win song.
And it could win song, but I don't think it will. You still have RRR winning song?
I mean, I have it there as a placeholder because I got to put something in there.
What would you put in otherwise?
I don't know because I don't none of them really make sense. We talked about this last week.
Yeah, I'm still confused, but I still have This Is a Life in there in second place.
I mean, I think that can win Fight for You did 2 years ago just because Judas was the biggest movie and it was the Best Picture nominee. Yeah. But the field is not the same this year as it was then.
What about Diane winning?
I mean, good for her. I do want her to win a competitive award because she tries so hard.
It almost feels like this could be the year. I don't know why.
I think she would need, I think for her to win with the whole Academy voting, she would need to write an absolute banger in a really popular hit movie. It would also help if it was a Best Picture nominee.
Right.
Yeah. Guys, I can't tell you how many tweets I've seen in the past months, 2 months, of people just saying, is Tell It Like a Woman a movie? Does it exist? Because I haven't seen it. So.
Has anybody seen it? Did you ever watch it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Me neither. That's it. I'm getting lost. Joyce looking at the Netflix To Dumb site. Did a bunch of SAG Awards content.
Yeah, they posted the seating chart a couple days ago. Yeah,
they really went in. Getting ready. So that was it. So we feel like nothing really changed, but I know people were like, man, you guys get everything wrong. I saw somebody in one of the comments was like, get everything wrong.
I have always said, like, I like being wrong because I don't think it should be totally predictable. Like, I like surprises.
Yeah. This is a really competitive race. I guess I always try to think of it like, I'm like, when you're watching the show, what does it feel like? And I'm just like, that's why I might go to Michelle, because when I'm watching the show and I'm watching the Oscars in 2 weeks, it's gonna be like, man, of course Michelle Yeoh is gonna win. Like, why? What? Like, I just don't. I don't know. I just feel like I just have a feeling at this point.
You're also easily swayed by in the moment stuff.
I am. It's true, but like, I'm not swayed enough to pick Jamie Lee Curtis. So, and I'm not swayed enough to pick Brendan Fraser. But Michelle Yeoh, I was pretty swayed tonight. I was like, oh.
I just don't think anything that happened with the reaction to her or the film was surprising, because I expected that reception for her,
right?
You know, and like, we know they love the movie and like she's beloved, so
they love this movie.
Like, it's like, that wasn't brand new information to me.
Amazing.
Like, I like I said last week, like, I want different winners, so I'm excited that she won because it keeps the race interesting.
Right.
So
all right, well, I guess we'll be back later this week then, Joyce, and we'll do our WGA picks and whatever other news is coming up.
Spirit Awards, come on.
Oh wow, I can't wait. Maybe Andrea Riseborough rises again. Remember Andrea Riseborough?
We had, like, no one's talked about her in so long, but every week there's always like something with her.
Somebody's mad about her.
This is one of her very few nominations for To Leslie.
Yeah, they were an early adopter of the To Leslie train.
And people like never mention that when they talk about her Oscar nomination.
No, completely forgot.
So,
all right. Well, we'll talk then. We'll talk about that and the WGA awards and all kinds of stuff, Joyce. This is so much fun. All right. Bye.